Let's see how this goes. I'm going to give a little demonstration about how to use EFT, emotional freedom technique, also known as tapping, to reduce stress levels. There's a lot of people out there, including myself at times, can find themselves stressed out with what's happening at the moment. It's affecting us in so many different areas of our life, around our children and our family, careers, all areas of our lives are being affected and changes are taking place, which can be scary in itself. So this simple technique that you can learn in a short period of time can bring those stress levels down, and so that's why I'm going to show you how to use that now. I'm going to start off by showing you where the tapping points are, and then I'll tell you how to put it all together and what needs to be said. So the first tapping point is called the karate chop point, for obvious reasons. I'm sure you've worked that out. So you just use your fingers to tap that side of your hand, right? And we'll be doing this 3 times. So you actually do it with pointing out what the problem is or what the challenge is at the moment, and put an affirmation next to it. And I'll show you how to do that as we go further into the demonstration. The other tapping points are where the eyebrow begins. Right at the start of the eyebrow, just tap it with 1 or 2 fingers. Right, the other one is on the side of the eye, right, where that bony part is there, just at the side of there. A couple of fingers there as well. Just tap it 5 or 6 times. Underneath the eye, underneath the bony part there, directly under the eyeball. Same procedure. Just tap it 6 or 7 times. Underneath the nose, above the top lip. It's another tapping point. Underneath the bottom lip. It's another point. Right, there's a collarbone point, right, and it's where your collarbone comes down, right, and then at the end of it, there's a bony part just underneath that, right, and so there's a little dip underneath that where that bone finishes, and that's your other part. You can use both hands if you want to when you're doing this. For certain points you can do both hands anyway. Obviously not for underneath the nose and the chin, but so you can do either side, both hands. There's no set way of doing it, and it's really when we start using these tapping points, we can get sort of wrapped up in getting it perfectly right, but it's a really forgiving technique. So you can often miss a point out by accident. You'll still feel results, the results that you're looking for, and it's just practicing, getting used to doing it on a regular basis, and you'll start to feel the results. So you start off with identifying what your problem is, and you give it a number, between 0 and 10, saying how challenging it is. So 0 is you've got no feelings around it, no emotion, and or no stress level, and 10 is through the roof. So just find out where you are, and the only reason you use these numbers is so that you can track yourself, so you can work out what sort of results you're getting from your tapping. So after each round, you'll just check it out again and see where it is, whether it's come down any. So you start off, and one of the things that needs to be made apparent is that when you pick out something that you want to work on, something that you're really stressed out about, it's good if you can nail it down to be specific. You're going to get a lot better results if you're specific about what it is. So obviously people are worried about the coronavirus at the moment, but there's lots of issues around the coronavirus. There could be lots of areas, and it's a bit too general to just say the coronavirus. You can start off with that, but then hone it down to what areas of it. I'm frightened of going out to the shops in case I catch it. Maybe I feel really frightened of being in on my own if you've not got family around you, or if you've got family around you, frightened that if you have to go out and come back again, that you might have picked it up and passed it on to family members. So there's lots of different areas, and people might be worried about their jobs and so forth. So it's the best results are to pick one thing, work on it, get that fear down, or that anxiety down around that issue, and then move on to another one. And let's face it, we've got plenty of time on our hands, so we can work through these one at a time and make ourselves feel better, because it's about, especially I'd like to point out something that I've been thinking about recently. I mean, all my children have grown up and left home, but I know, if I'm a parent with young children, and I'm really frightened, I can pass that fear on to my children, and traumatise them in a way. So by me, by a parent being able to reduce their stress levels, they're also affecting those around them as well, making them feel better. So there's a double benefit from actually reducing stress. And well, there's a number of different benefits, including increasing your immune system and its effectiveness in protecting you. So let's get started. So the first tapping point is the karate chop point, and I mentioned that. And so you start off by saying, even though I've got all this worry about going out to the shops and contracting this virus and passing it on to someone else, or getting it myself and passing it on to someone else, but I truly and completely accept myself. So you say that 3 times, right? So even though I've got all this stress around going out, I'm really fearful about catching this virus and passing it on to anybody else, I truly and completely accept myself. And then once you've done that 3 times, right, you go on to tapping on these points. So the eyebrow point, you say all this stress around going out, all this fear about contracting this virus, all this fear, all this stress, all this worry about going to the shops. And you just do that. You go around that, doing that 2 or 3 times. And gradually you'll feel your anxiety starting to lower. And we can also go on to finger points, but I think you just sticking to the face and the collarbone point is enough for the time being. And just do that, through that round 3 times. And then check yourself out to see whether those stress levels have dropped any. Now, before you start, there's 2 things you need to do before you start this process. Be sure to wash your hands, because we're not supposed to be touching our faces at this time without thoroughly washing our hands. So make sure you wash your hands before you start tapping on yourselves. The other thing is, before and after, you can do a little breathing exercise, and this breathing exercise is to do with something called the vagal nerve, and I don't want to go into what that's about, but it's a really important part of the stress, reducing stress. So what it is, you take a deep breath in, hold it for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the out breath, make it longer than the in breath. So if you've taken an in breath for 4, hold for 4, and out for 6 or 7, whichever makes you comfortable. As long as it's a longer number than the number that you held it for in the first place, or the in breath, then that's good enough. I usually do 4 in, take a breath in for 4, hold for 4, and then about 10 coming out. And do that 3 times before you start. So and the out breath is through the mouth. So do that 3 times, and then start your process. And then after you've finished the EFT, do the breathing again. Now there's another way. If you're a bit worried about remembering the words to say, or the right, because there's more. You can use fingers as well to be tapping on, and it can get quite complicated. If you want to keep it really simple, one of the best methods is the no words tapping. And the no words tapping is, right, we just think about what the problem is, right, and we tap on these points. But we tap on them longer this time. We tap on them for about 15 to 20 taps on each point. And that's all you do. Just tap on those points. 10 or 15 times. I'm not doing it 10 or 15 times, but I'm just showing you where the points are. And then what you do is you take a deep breath in again, hold it for 4, and then out slowly again for the 10 breaths, or whatever you're comfortable with, as long as it's a longer number than the one you were holding it for. And do that 3 times. And then go back to the tapping. Remember, you're doing this for about 15 to 20 times on these tapping points. And like I say, you can also use 2 hands if you want to. And then when you're finished, take your deep breath again. Hold it. And then out for a longer breath through the mouth. Hold. And just check how you feel. If you're still feeling stressed, a friend of mine who's an EFT practitioner, master EFT practitioner, she likes to not go with the between 0 and 10, called the SUDS level, subject units of distress. She goes with the traffic lights, which is a lot simpler. You know, you're either feeling okay, feeling stressed, or you're through the roof. So it's green, amber, and red. So just check yourself out and see where you are. If you're on amber, you need to do a little bit more to get yourself down to a level where you feel comfortable. And just try these things out and see how it goes. And hopefully you're going to feel a lot better in the future. I know that when I use it, no matter what's going off in my life, I've had some with the coronavirus. All my clients are all one-to-one in this room. Actually, this is my treatment room, so that's all gone out the window. Yeah. So I'm having to change everything to online work, which is all new to me. But yeah, I don't see a problem. You know, I just see that I have to be more creative. I have to try new things out, and it's taking me out of my comfort zone. So I'm sure I'm going to learn lots from it. And so yeah, try and not let this lockdown overwhelm you. You know, there's a lot of areas that we can do where we can work on ourselves and come out of this better people than when we went in. And that's, if you can do that, you know, I mean, and you've used this time wisely. So thank you.